So Justin, if I gave you £500 million worth of capital, who are the people, what property, and which place would you look to allocate that capital?
Yeah. So obviously, just to cheat on the question a little bit, at least half of it goes to our existing strategies. So I'll take the other half, which is more personal and kind of opportunistic. I'd say the first 50 million, I'd think about this, and probably I found that a lot of the opportunity in Europe is in land. That frictional nature of UK planning, European planning. If you buy in the path of growth and power, you can make a lot of money in an opportunity. And being strategic about that and kind of creating a mixed portfolio of very targeted, let's not call them bets, is a great way to create great multiples on capital. Next, I would probably put 50 million, call it euros, pounds, in platforms. I think the best way to get to opportunity is by building teams and creating brands around those. Start of what we've done. That could be building new ones, growing existing ones, M&A, whatever that might be. I think this is a market that still creates a lot of opportunity to create new ideas and growth around that. I think urban mobility is a really interesting strategy, one that we're starting to explore with Affinius and Mount Park. And autonomous vehicles will be a very significant growth sector. So urban land that's powered, that can adapt to that need. Coming from San Francisco, where about 30% of the market share is Waymo and basically autonomous cars. It's coming to Europe. I think in our lives, the need to own your own vehicle may not exist, in 20 or 30 years. That change is coming and extremely exciting, and I think creates a real lifestyle change in being able to take your autonomous car from central London to the Cotswolds for dinner and come back whenever you want. I'm really excited about that change in the difference in lifestyle and how that flows through all of real estate and use of it.
That sounds like a dad who's got 2 teenage daughters who knows all too well what being a taxi driver is like.
I do. Yeah, a lot of my weekends are shepherding them from sports or friends' houses. But no, I think mobility as a theme for real estate is something to narrow in on and be really excited about. And, they've also seen, imagine it. You get into a Waymo in San Francisco or, there are other competitors to them. It's your space. You control the radio. There's a safety element. Single women can use it and never have to worry because it's just them. I just think that product is coming and really exciting. So I think that's a trend that is early for Europe, but it's a reason to focus in on it, and we'll continue to do that.
So land, urban mobility, autonomous cars.
Yeah, so I think I've got 100 million left. The two that I put a lot of thought about, a lot of my background and upbringing were in the tech markets. I think technology has not really come into construction real estate to the extent it should. If you think about how we build a home, you think about how we build most of what we do, the technology hasn't changed drastically in the last 100 years. You can't say that about a lot of the sectors of the economy, that there hasn't been some significant change. So these buildings take too long to build. The supply chain is far too fragmented. There's just room for opportunity. And also I think about, sustainability factors. We use too much of the materials. Just using less of it would be much more sustainable. So I'm a big believer in just finding better ways to build. Will improve, and actually there's opportunity for a lot of opportunity to make money out of that. And so I think there's some exciting things happening, and things that some may find boring, like concrete, like, cladding, roofing.
Modular,
yeah. So built offsite, then brought in and built quickly. A lot of that becomes really exciting. And I think, we're at the start of more of that coming into the acceptance of the industry. The last one I'd state, pending peace in Ukraine. I think investing into Ukraine with knowing that that's the breadbasket of Europe, knowing that there is a highly educated population there and a lot of opportunity. There's a lot to do, but whether that's the next Marshall Plan or whatever might come out of that, I'm hopeful that there's a lot of opportunity in a country of circa 40 million. Energy, there are all these elements that just seem like opportunity and doing the right thing for Europe that I'm excited about, and I hope I have the opportunity to invest in that country in my career.
So that was kind of 250 million. That's the other half of it. And then the other half would be the kind of the existing strategy. So kind of credit, residential, data centers, and logistics too. So,
and I think that fits with my personal and probably the Affinius mindset is do some things that you do well, but you always have the potential to add on to that. And it may not be 50% of what you do, but yeah, there is always an element to try some new strategy and create alpha through that.